whoever you represent for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mayor Penn, if you could unmute Mayor Penn, that would be great.
Nope. You should be able to unmute yourself.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I asked Mayor Penn to do that because what is happening when we all stay together, we're delayed and there's all that noise behind, but I still want to make sure that before we start our meeting, that we do pay our respect to the flag. Okay, what I am going to do at this time, I'll go ahead and set the agenda. We do have an agenda. However, I'm going to make some changes to the agenda. I'll go ahead and move down our preliminary announcement down to number 5 before we speak with the officer's report. We have two different organizations or two different companies on our call tonight that will give us a presentation in regards to the website. So I'll go ahead and move forward into our website proposal. And we'll go and ask Kevin from Proud City to go ahead and move into their presentation. If you want to, I'll ask Josh to go ahead and introduce Kevin before he starts.
Absolutely. Kevin, so I'm going to unmute you here. You should be able to unmute, and Luke, I'll unmute you just in case you wanted to speak as well.
Oh, I thought it was Kevin now.
Cool. And Kevin, you should have ability to share. I just want to make sure you have that.
Yep.
Okay. So let me just introduce Kevin. Kevin is with Kevin Herman, and also Luke is on as well. They're both with Proud City, and this is one potential website proposal. And so let me just kind of back up. So we're going to have 2 website proposals tonight. Just two different options, probably two different plans and 2 different directions that we can go in. We did a lot of different research, and we kind of wanted to present both as possible options, and then allow the council to make that decision. We can certainly have that discussion. So like I said, Kevin is with Proud City, and I'll hand it right over to you so we can get started.
Great, thanks so much. Thanks for having me tonight and taking time out of your schedule to hear what we're about. Luke Fretwell, our CEO, is also here. I'm gonna do the talking since we have just a short window, but thanks everyone. So I'm sharing my screen here. I'm gonna run through a just quick slides just to do a very quick overview, and then try and get into the product side and some of the differentiators that Josh and Claudette have asked me to just touch on for this presentation. So I'm going to try and squeeze about 45 minutes of information into 15, and hopefully it makes some sense. I think there's going to be a few minutes of Q&A at the end, so hopefully I can explain anything that or go into more detail on anything that people have. So thanks again. We're Proud City. We are a local government digital services provider. So some of the principles that we believe in is that Mount Pocono needs digital government technology, and that should include that it's accessible, it's mobile, it's secure, it's cost effective, but it's also always improving. Better digital government services are inclusive and responsive. They meet the community where they are. They increase public engagement and trust, and they save time and money for people and the government. So we're focused on all of these aspects as far as our platform goes, what that means for us, our relationship with you, and your relationship with your community. So accessible, mobile, secure digital government solutions, that encompasses several things. I know the focus for, part of what you're shopping for is a website. What we provide is in addition to the website. So digital solutions, digital services, website is part of that. But it also includes forms. It also includes public meetings, notifications, payments. there are more services that that you deliver and that are part of a website. So as a local government solution, something that's very much focused on local government, it's what we do. It's much more than a website. And I guess just to take a step back, uh, you know, we are focused on government, and that's the software and the service that we provide. We're working with local governments around the country, and we're able to take those lessons learned and provide them down to the local level. So the offering that we're providing cities like Jackson, Mississippi, state capitals that are much larger and have bigger budgets, you're getting the same product, even though you're a much smaller community population-wise. So our population-based pricing allows you to get the maximum value. So you're getting, six-figure digital government services for a much lower price point because of our population-based pricing. So you guys are really working out well here. And again, that's because of our software as a service approach. So what that means is that every 2 weeks, you're getting security updates, accessibility updates. So as the standards for accessibility change over time, rules change, laws change, best practices change, those are going into the site every 2 weeks. And we don't just stop with kind of the standard sort of security and maintenance updates, which are important, but you're also getting new features. So say like an app on your phone or a social network that just improves over time. You get new features, you get new user experiences because they're learning how to provide better services. Because this is much more than just a website, we are also providing new features over time. So again, it's not just to maintain what you have. We are improving our platform so that you can improve your services as well. So that's a big differentiator in what we're offering. We also have exceptional support. So not only is that ticketing and chat that we can provide for quick responsive support, because we're solving platform problems. So we're taking, we're using support to listen to issues around the country to give back into our product. We're really solving root causes. So our metrics for success in our support ticketing and what we are investing into our customers in training and our knowledge base is that we don't want to have tickets. I don't think you guys want to be submitting tickets. So we offer a responsive ticketing system, but our goal is that people are standing on their own, operating on their own, and not needing us. And that's not that we're not there for you, but that we want to have a product where you are empowered and that you are the experts on delivering services in your community, and therefore you can do that without submitting tickets or waiting. So again, part of the equation are websites, and here are certain standards that we're keeping to. So as a government provider, we want to be ahead of the curve. So we're not reacting customer to customer and improving as we're paid. We're staying on the forefront to make sure that we are setting the standard for our websites and our forms. Payments that are included in your subscription are also something that we're going to stay in front of. Public meetings as well. Lastly, before getting into showing you the products itself, is also our onboarding. So something that is unique to us in the way in which we stand up and customize our sites is that rather than throwing in training at the end as a quick, this is how you do things, we have a curriculum that we work with you, and we're doing 12 weeks of training. So each week is a focus area where we do a content type or a service delivery, and we train you on it. And then the next week we go on to the next one and we build on top of it in a sequential manner so that you understand how to manage your site and you're empowered because we are putting in a lot of time together to be fully trained to do continuous improvement on your end as well. So a big part of how we're able to do this in a cost-effective way is our platform approach. So I was able to put this together pretty quickly. But this is city template. This is where we start from. So I know template can be a dirty word in that people want to have a unique web presence. We believe firmly that working off of our city template affords you the ability to customize on your own over time, rather than being stuck with a fixed asset like you have now that you spend money, you build out to spec, and then over time it depreciates in value. This way we're continuously improving because there are parameters that you are able to customize and design through our training on your own. So certain things that are standard with Proud City are security. Every page is going to have an SSL certificate. You're not paying more money for this. Every page is going to be responsive. Every page going into the future is going to be accessible. And these are with our product updates every 2 weeks. We're going to be keeping to these standards with every new feature upgrade you get along the way. Now, again, this is our starting point, so we can go in a lot of different directions. So you have Jackson, much larger city, it's different. Columbia Township, smaller than you, looks different. But then you have Petaluma that goes in a much different direction. Again, starting from city template and going in a different direction, along with Belmont, North Carolina, going in a very different direction as well. So depending on your community's needs, as we want to express your community and your services, we'll find that in the onboarding process to alter through trainings the city template to what makes sense for you. Some that are worth highlighting front end of this that I think are wrong points of Proud City is we'll have a sound navigation and we'll work through content exercises to make sure that things are logical and make sense. But we also have an extremely powerful search component to our site. So just like a Google experience where you have predictive search that pulls up criteria so people could quickly find services, we are indexing our different types of content that's unique to your site so that if someone's looking for a police report, they might go through departments and drilling down throughout the site. But even once they get there, filing and getting a copy of that police report are two very different activities. So through our content exercises and the way in which we set up our sites, our search is a robust feature that is a differentiator for us. I know that public meetings are important for you. San Rafael here is using Proud City Meetings, so you could see how they are archiving their public information so that you could click through and see their meetings page where you can look per meeting, click into an item, and then see their individual meeting information and videos as that content is made available. So a meeting starts off as an event, then an agenda is created. Might have a more in-depth packet followed by minutes and a video at the end made much easier now that we're doing things in Zoom. So to get a look at it, if you're on your test site here and you click through to your Republican, we can see that we're having a council meeting tonight. It's on the calendar. We click on the event. Here's our Zoom information. And we scroll down and we have the agenda already in here. And this is secure. It's in the theme of the site. And it's responsive. So those are, oh, one more aspect of this that is worth noting is that if we're doing a search for a council meeting, it'll come up right at the top. So those are some aspects high level. I know the last bit that I know that you wanted me to touch on was cost. And like I said, what we're offering is a platform. So with our continuous improvement, so we're putting in updates, we're continuously improving the platform, and we're instilling those values in the way in which you provide services to your community. It's much more than a website. Having said that, there are aspects within your subscription, so your annual subscription, that will include all of these different services. So this includes your website. This includes security. This includes maintenance. This includes forms, payments, meetings. All of those aspects that go into your digital services are included in here, plus your feature updates. So that's on us to make sure that you are staying at the forefront of digital services as they get better. You know, again, going back to accessibility, that's an example of something where the goalposts keep moving and that we have to stay on top of. In the old model, where you build something and it depreciates in value, it would be a challenge or very expensive to make sure the development needs are keeping up with those best practices over time. It's part of our product, and we're making sure that standard is met. And the last bit is the onboarding. That's the training curriculum to get the site launched within 90 days, oftentimes much faster. But that is the timestamp that we guarantee, which is fast. This is what we do. We focus on local government. Most of our governments are under 20,000 people. Quite a few are under 10,000. So we specifically work with governments that are local. And lastly, I just wanted to emphasize that point, that you could see that in our platform that is customized for local government, that these templates and content types represent that we are building for local governments. And this is big enough to scale up for, again, state capitals, counties, but provide you with the utmost value, even though that you're a small community. High level, I think I squeezed that in pretty quickly. I don't know where I am on the window there.
You're good. You're within that window. Now, we'll just open the floor for any Q&A. Any questions from the council?
And if anyone has questions, you can just unmute yourself. You'll be able to unmute yourself.
I have one question. That 4,500 one-time price is, that's we have to go for that, right? For the training.
So technically, it's an optional item. And the reason why we make that optional is because, again, we work with some very small communities that can't afford that. And so instead of leaving them out, if they feel like they can go through the onboarding by self onboarding, we want to offer that service to not leave people out. We do put our entire curriculum online. So help.proudcity.com. You can click through and see week by week what the onboarding is. So again, if cities want our services but can't afford onboarding, we allow that. Having said that, we highly recommend being guided through the experience.
And Councilman Neville, I would say it's not really, it wouldn't be something that everybody would have to, show up for the training. It would just be, I would probably run point on that. And I myself would get trained, I'd probably have, I'm kind of volunteering Alexis here. I see her on. I would probably have her, jump in on some trainings with me. She's very technologically capable, so that at least there's a couple of us in the office who would be able to make these updates. If, like we said, at the last minute update, we need something added to the website right before the meeting. If I wasn't available, Alexis would be able to do it, or any, vice versa. So it would probably just be a couple of us going through those trainings so that we don't have to constantly reach out to Proud City or whoever. And like Kevin said, so we don't have to even use the ticketing feature. If we're going through those trainings, in those 12 weeks, we can feel comfortable enough to add things to the site.
Yes, Jess, I understand. And my question to you is, do you need this training? Will it benefit you and Alexa and whoever?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've
Okay.
built, yeah, absolutely. I built websites before and I use different platforms, but I would say absolutely we want that training just to do it right.
Okay.
We really want a dynamic, bold website. And I think to get that, we need that thorough training.
I agree. And my other question to the gentleman was, are these prices negotiable?
No, they're not.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that we have transparent pricing on our website. So rather than going from city to city, we operate under the same terms that you do, that things need to be open. And in order to be open means that we can't negotiate.
Okay, thank you very much. I truly appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Claudette, I do have a question. Hi, Kevin, it's Alexis. I'm the zoning officer, and I believe you mentioned the e-commerce portion where residents could come on and actually pay a fee online. Can you tell me what platform you use for that?
Sure. So we integrate Proud City payments. So any web form that you build out on the site can in turn be a payment right here on the site. We integrate with Stripe as our payment processor to integrate directly in the site. So Stripe, for those who don't know, is it's a competitor of PayPal, but it's kind of more of a white label version of that. So things like Lyft uses Stripe in the background. You just don't know it because it's integrated into the site. So we provide you the same experience going through Stripe and our system. If you use Proud City Payment, allows you to again use web forms to set up your payments, and then we have reporting that you could export and put into your financial systems. So all that is totally integrated. If you want to mix and match, so say you have a legacy payment system, or maybe the county uses something that you want to tap into, you can link out to those different systems while still having the searchable payment tools right on the site.
Okay. No, I don't believe we have anything in place. Thank you.
All right, if anyone else have a question, please go ahead and put it in the chat, and Joshua will make sure that we get to those questions before they jump off the line. I'll now go ahead and move to Mr. English, who is the next presenter with his website, Mr. Chris English. Mayor Penn, if you want to go ahead and do that introduction, that'll be fine.
And Chris, you should be able to share your screen. You have those ability to do that.
Okay. So let me introduce Chris English and Agatka here. So Chris my introduction to Chris was back in the fall. I had just kind of seen a random post online that basically he was looking for clients. He offered to develop websites for free for people in an effort to build up his clientele. He had worked for web.com, and because of COVID, there were layoffs and such, and so he was building his own business. So we met and we discussed what kind of what I thought council might be looking for in a website. And I wanted to kind of put this together in a proposal and put it forward to council for consideration. And, you know, we talked about e-commerce. We talked about integrating payments into QuickBooks. We talked about full transparency in minutes and videos and audio up. And all the, you know, just pretty much a very similar package to Proud City. Chris is local, he's based in Blakesley, and I will let him go from here.
Hello all, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Basically my partner, Agata, and I, we come from we worked at the same company actually, and we were both laid off around the same time when COVID hit. We've been developing for over 10 years or so. We offer everything that basically Proud Cities offered, but our design philosophies are a little different. Whereas they use templates, we create custom sites. We look at what your business wants, what your business needs, and we create sites based on that. So the looks on our sites are varied. As you can see from, this is some of the work that we've done. Each tailored to the market that we're trying to target. I'm just gonna run through a couple more of those real quick for you. So whereas a lot of their sites might look similar, none of our sites look the same. And, you know, because again, we cater to your business. We create an identity for you that we think fits your brand. And the look and functionality of your site, we feel, should be unique to you. We offer the same forms, the same e-commerce setups. We secure the site secure, and we don't see that as features. That's a basic part of every site. That's not something that should be a feature. A form shouldn't be part of a feature. That's all that's included in your basic bill. It takes, you know, no time to add that stuff to the site. And a lot of companies like to present that as, oh, you're getting this and you're getting this as an, you know, as an add-on, we're throwing this into you. It really takes no time to integrate a lot of this stuff in there. So basically when I was talking with the mayor, I put together a little mock. Since I don't use templates, it's not a live mock as Proud Cities mock was per se, because, you know, we actually have to build out our site. Again, we looked at just looking at the current site. You know, he wanted to have information about COVID. Almost every site nowadays has the information up top about what's going on with COVID and COVID in your community. We added that. We streamlined what we thought might have been, you know, the main features of your departments. This could change, of course, based on, you know, what your needs are. Excuse the picture in the background. I know this is Mount Pocono. What we'd like to do, of course, is put that picture of Mount Pocono looking down from your office, you know, and capture that image there, a little bit about Mount Pocono. The places that people come to your site for the most information, we like to put that out front. So their site to pay bills, which is one of the things we discussed with Mayor Penn about them having, you know, pay bills or you know, pay fines and whatever. That's right up front. If you want to, you know, get an application for a permit, that's right up front. Zoning ordinance, that's right up front. These can change based on what it is that you guys think are the most important things that people come to your site to look for. A little bit about the history, because, you know, just moving to Mount Pocono and you're going to the site, you know, you want to know a little bit about the community that you're moving into. The news and events. We've a section for the council member. We've added Google Maps on there so that if people are trying to find out where to get to you, they can just click on the Google map and be taken there. We've organized your number so that they can just click. They can just click here to get to the, it'll go back to the Google map, the general email address for you guys, and the social media icons, as well as a newsletter where people can sign up to receive information right from you to their email box. Now, as I stated, that this was just a mock that was created really quick to show you kind of an idea and a different look. Also, it's adaptable, so it's easily viewable on your cell phones. Or on a tablet or on the computer. So our main thing is that, like I said, we custom design for your community, for the community. We don't want Mount Pocono looking like Tuckahonic or whatever the case may be. Even though if there are features that you like, you see on a competing site that you like, we can easily integrate it. Our platform is scalable. And I'm a little nervous to speak in front of you guys, so you just gotta kind of excuse me. And the thing is, what we're doing is, like I said, we offer the same thing. Our build time is actually, because we've worked together so long, we can create sites real quick, depending on how quickly you've gathered the content of the site. And that includes, it's not limited to text, images, PDFs, and how the pages link together. And we can launch within 60 days of receiving the materials. Agata, anything you want to add? Agata?
Yeah. Hi,
Okay.
this is Agata. Yeah, one of the things, Chris, if you can just scroll down to like the news section and things like that.
Okay.
The council members, even this area here. So a lot of this, like Chris said, it's not a live website right now. This is just an interactive mock-up because we would be building it from scratch and it would be hosted and everything. But like, for example, this news section, this news area, this would be pulling from, like, you could specify how many news features you want to focus on the homepage. So it would automatically pull the first 2, the first 4, first 8, however much you specify from your calendar area. And a visitor could easily see, okay, these are the 4 things that are coming up quick. If they wanted to go to the actual news site and see everything, then they could go to that news area of your website to see everything. Same with the council members. It would automatically dynamically pull from the council members' individual pages where they would have the information, a little brief history of the council member, their terms, and maybe some of the things that how they vote on things and whatnot. But that would all be dynamic. Going to, for example, the payment side and the e-commerce area, we would be integrating WooCommerce with Stripe, similar to how Proud City was doing with Stripe. Stripe is your payment processor, and WooCommerce integrates with WordPerfect, which is what your site would be built on. It's the WordPerfect foundation, and that would be you'd be easily able to add different products for people, the permits that they need to purchase, specify how much it costs. You can add a picture or a download document if they can download it, and then if they need to sign it, then they can email that signed document back to you. All of that can be integrated. It's not necessarily like a form, it's a part of a actual e-commerce portion going through WooCommerce. So you can have forms as well if you needed them to fill out information. For example, if they're an online permit and they need to fill out their name and their address and what they're actually want to do, if they a fence or if they're setting up a pool, things like that. So you can integrate that form into it through the WooCommerce. And our onboarding is included into our price. We don't have, it's not really an optional addition to to the features. So what we would do is we would, at the end, we would go through and we would train you, similar to how, you know, the Proud City has their optional training. So we would sit down with you and we would train you so that you could add more products if you needed to add more products, or easily add meetings to your website and news events, things like that. Council members, if council members change, you can add and subtract different council member pages and things like that. So it's, once we are completed with the training, then you actually would be able to do a lot of this without having to come back to us. We don't have a ticketing system like Proud City does. We're pretty much, if you run into an issue or if you need something that needs to be done, then we're here to take care of that as soon as possible. Bigger organizations like Proud City do have a ticketing system because that's an easy way for them to manage. They hit their larger scale. We're on a smaller scale, so we can have that personal touch, and you know, you just go right to us, and then we would take care of it.
Oh, we do offer we spoke when speaking with the mayor. He stated that he'd like a component that would allow all the information there, especially with the e-commerce, to be exported to QuickBooks. We do have that, and that's at an additional fee, but we do have the capability so that anything that's bought or sold through your website can generate a report that can automatically be entered in the QuickBooks through an import. Let's see what else. And I think basically that's it. Price wise, our prices are $5,500. The component for the QuickBooks integration component is $2,000, but this is a one-time fee. Throughout use, you know, over about a year would have paid itself back, because I can't imagine everybody, you know, purchasing whatever they're going to purchase through the site, and you having to enter that information manually in the QuickBooks. It's a time saver. So it's a little upfront, but down the line, it will save time and it will save money from who's ever entering this kind of stuff in the QuickBooks. We have a monthly maintenance package if you want that. If you need help beyond the training, and that's $50 a month. And that can be it doesn't have to be an ongoing thing. If you need us for that month to help you with something that you can't do yourselves, which you'll pay us $50 for that month. If you don't need us the next month, then you don't have to. We're not holding you to a contract. We're flexible like that because we are local to you. And I think that's about all that I have to say. Anything you want to add, Agatha?
No, other than, like Chris mentioned, that a lot of the features were very, as far as feature-wise and price-wise, compatible with or competitive to what Proud City is offering. You'll get an SSL certificate to make sure that it's secure, that your site is secure. You can integrate email lists into it if you're using MailChimp, or if you're using another, you know, email list generator, that can be integrated into your website for newsletters. Different forms can be sent to specific people. So if you have specific forms, applications, permit applications, you can specify who that's actually going to be sent to, as opposed to it just going to like a general mailing list or mailbox. You can say, okay, well, this councilman needs these forms to be done. This person has these forms needs to be sent, so that can be all customized. The site will be responsive, just like Proud Cities, and how Chris kind of showed you, you know, the look and feel of the desktop will shrink down to a tablet, it will shrink down to a browser, or I'm sorry, a mobile device, and everything will still be, you know, easily accessible. The ADA compliance, which governments websites need to have nowadays. We've dealt with the ADA compliance a lot. We did a lot with the health community, which is also very stringent upon, making sure that people with disabilities can access the information. So we're well versed in getting that ADA compliance integrated into your website.
Okay,
Chris,
all right.
I'm sorry, real quick, Chris, there was a question about your fees. Could you restate the price?
Okay, so the price for us building and putting together the site together is $5,500. The QuickBooks component is $2,000. That's again one-time fee. The site is a one-time fee, and if you do need maintenance, monthly maintenance, then that's $50 per month. Well, again, it's for the month that you need. So if you need it this month, you pay for this month. If you don't need it next month, then you don't pay. We're not holding you to a yearly contract. It's pay as needed.
So so with the e-commerce component, it's $7,500 one-time fee, and then yearly it's
Well,
$1,200.
not with the e-commerce component. The e-commerce component is built into
Or with the QuickBooks,
right, the
component.
QuickBooks integration.
It's $7,500 one-time fee, and then yearly you said it's $1,200 because that would be $50 a month for the hosting and then $50 a month for the maintenance, correct?
Right.
Okay. So just to kind of throw both out there, so like you said, Chris English's was $7,500 one-time fee plus a $1,200 a year, and then Proud City was $4,500 one-time fee, $1,800 a year. And I'll kick it over to you, President Williams.
No, that's not accurate, actually. Let me restate that. So it's $5,500 a year. It's only an extra $2,000 if we want the QuickBooks component, which Proud City doesn't offer. The $1,200 a year is it's $600 a year for the hosting, and if we want support, then it's $50 a month. We don't have, it's only on an as-used basis though. So it's, to compare apples to apples, it's $5,500 plus the $600, right? Is that right, Chris?
Yes.
So that's $6,100 is the total. If we want the QuickBooks component, then it's an additional $2,000. And I have a question, does Proud City, can we add some sort of QuickBooks component to them? Or do they have that ability, or what?
Kevin?
Hi.
Lou?
We do not have a QuickBooks integration. Our customers that use varying reconciling software do an export and import into their systems. So we have our own sort of financial dashboard, and then it exports into whichever system you want to use.
I have a question, and this question is going to be to Niall. We talk about QuickBook, and that was my question that I had when we did the presentation. Is that something that Danielle would want to use? Or is that, I find it a little bit strange. I like to track everything myself. So we have to make sure that how with that QuickBook integration piece of it, the payment is made and then it's updated to her to QuickBook. Is that what it is?
Danielle, you on, or was that towards to Danielle or towards Chris?
Towards the, it was really Danielle, the first part of it, because she's the one that will be using, using the QuickBook, and then the next part of it was to Chris.
I'm not sure if Danielle is still.
I'm going to pass that part off to Agatha because she is the one that would be doing the programming for the QuickBook.
Okay. You're mute.
Yep, I just unmuted, sorry. Yeah, there's actually several different ways that you can integrate the QuickBooks.
What are we integrating? I'm sort of confused here. What are you integrating?
To get the so that you wouldn't have to manually download purchases and things like it, fees that get paid, the application fees, things like that would automatically, with the QuickBooks integration, go from your website and the payment processing into your QuickBooks database without having to do a manual download and upload into your database.
Danielle, do you think that's something that you might use, or do you think it would
I'm
be?
trying to think what I would be, so we don't collect sewer, okay? There's no sewer payments.
Danielle, it would mostly probably be zoning.
It
Yeah.
would probably be how many of those do we do? Not that
No.
many.
A lot, well, we do in the summer. It would be all our permit fees. And also for new development, their application fees, et cetera.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it sounds like there's multiple ways that's definitely an interesting component, and that's something we can, consider and look at. It sounds like if we had it, that'd be great. It sounds like if we didn't, it sounds like there's probably other ways to do it. I mean, we could certainly.
And it's also something that if you didn't want it right now, and then you realize that maybe it's something that you want in the future, it can always be added in the future. It's not something that, well, if we decide not to have it now, we're never going to have it,
Mhm.
So it's something that you can sit on for a little bit. And if you decide that, yes, that's an integration that we want to, save the time for manual downloading and manual uploading, then in the future, we can integrate the QuickBooks.
Chris, a question I have for you: do you have experience building government websites, specifically like local government websites?
As Agaka stated, we haven't built government websites per se, but we have built healthcare websites, whose regulations are just as stringent as those of the government. It's the same. ADA practices, have to be ADA compliant and follow certain HIPAA regulations. As a matter of fact, this Roxbury one, this is one of 256 sites that Agaka and I built for United Healthcare System that had to follow such rules. So government, not per se. Do we have experience with ADA compliant websites? Yes, we do.
Kevin, the same question to you. Do you have experience building the local government sites and government websites?
Yeah, we only do local government. So all of our customers, which are over 60 throughout the country, are all local governments.
I'll kick it to you, President
Okay.
Williams. I know I haven't been able to keep up with all the questions, but I know we have some other things on the agenda, so I'll kick it over to you.
Yes, and unfortunately, I must kick this along. So we've heard two different companies tonight. I'd like the council to keep thinking about those questions. It's a possibility. I might ask for a vote later on in our meeting. If you have any more questions, I would say please put them in our chat, and we'll go monitor. Joshua will go ahead and monitors those information in the chat and make sure that we get an answer back. From the council, for the individuals who will be voting tonight, do you have any questions before these companies jump off? If they're jumping off. Any questions from the council?
I have one question. I'm sorry, you go ahead, whoever that was, Ada.
It was Ida.
Okay. Patty?
Okay, sorry.
Yes, sir. I just have one question for Proud City. What is the time frame? I know Chris said 60 days to complete. What is Proud City?
We launch our sites within 90 days. Oftentimes it's much faster than that. It depends. So at most 90 days. And then depending on how fast the city can move and wants to move, we beat that time a majority of the time. So it averages probably in 2 months. But again, that part is reliant upon how quickly the city would like to move.
If I could just add to that, the speed to that is really, like he had mentioned, for anybody who builds his website, it's going to really depend on everyone here in the office, myself and Alexis and Diana and Danielle, just getting all that information. There's a lot of PDFs, there's a lot of web forms to create, there's a lot of, getting the ordinances uploaded and getting all the links working at the site mapping and all that. So it takes a lot. I would be concerned if it was too quick, because we might not have a really great, we want a bold dynamic website. I know we need to get something quick, it's a priority, but I think if it's a quick turnaround, I would be concerned that some links are probably not working and that we didn't put enough time to really build a bold dynamic website.
Okay. All righty. Councilwoman Montanez, I have a question, and then I'm going to jump to Luke, who has a question, and then we'll move on. Councilwoman
All right,
Montanez.
this is for both vendors, actually. Obviously, I'm going to be concerned about our being able to update and do things that we want to build the website, whether it be adding our our monthly newsletters and such that has been new to the borough. But what I'd like to know, if both websites are able to connect outside links so that, like, our fire department and our EMS services that are both volunteer and do a lot of fundraisers, would we be able to have like a donate here button that attaches to them in order to provide them with those services? Like, are these outside links? Even with the sewer department, would we be able to add links to those other entities so that people can come to our page, click sewer, and it'll take them to the municipal authority where they can then pay their bill and whatever they need to. That's for both. That question is for both, because I would like to know that we can still support the organizations here that are servicing our community, like the fire department and our EMS.
Yes, you will absolutely be able to add external links to those entities and organizations. So that would be very easy for you to add, once the training is completed and you know where to go on the back end of the website, you can absolutely add those links.
Okay. All righty. I think Colleen, you had a question?
That question was for both. I didn't get an answer from the other vendor.
He's coming on, Kevin.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Linking out is not a problem. We have lots of ways to do that within best practices. So we'll coach you on best practices to do that, and those sort of activities, whether it's linking out to departments that have their own site or have fundraising that you want to make sure that are staying within different types of compliance than your general kind of city funds and taxes and things of that nature. So that stuff is all common practice, and we could share different examples from other cities if needed.
Okay. I was reading something in the chat, something in regards to security, and I think Luke, you had a statement in regards to security.
Yeah, and I see that both of us are using the same software, and that's WordPress. Just want a presence, the one of the reasons why we started Proud City was because, a classic scenario is local governments, they get a website, they launch it, and then within 30 days it's dated because there are security issues or potentially accessibility issues. And the reason why we created Proud City in a subscription model was because, as Kevin mentioned, every 2 weeks we issue updates, security updates, accessibility updates, and new enhancements. And it's not necessarily, for government especially, it's about the service delivery and protecting the privacy, and the experience of the user, which is most important. And if you aren't constantly, especially with, any software you use, but if you're not constantly updating the software, it's eventually, it's going to go dated and be vulnerable to security especially, but also accessibility issues. So I would, regardless of whether you go with us in our subscription model or with Agatka and Christopher, I would account for that in your pricing, because you're absolutely going to need the WordPress software to be updated, at minimum monthly, because you're going to be vulnerable, opening yourself up to security vulnerabilities. So just want to presence everybody to that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Chris English and Agatha, and Luke and Evan. We appreciate your time. The council, I hope you have all the information that you need in order to make decision once we get to once I call for motion. At this time, if both of you, the vendors, want to jump off, you're free to do so. If you want to stay on, you're also free to do so. At this time, I'll move forward with going through our agenda and getting to make sure that we can get out this meeting before midnight. Okay, at this time, I'll move down on our agenda for approval of the minutes. So we have the regular meeting at November 5th, 2020. We had a special meeting November 19, 2020, special meeting December 31st, 2020, regular meeting January 4th, 2021, special meeting January 19, 2021. You could do those in orders, or you could go ahead and may I have a motion for all 4 of our meetings, I should say 5 meetings together.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for all 5 meetings.
I have a motion, may I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion on the floor, I have a second. Any discussion or concern? Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Is Franny on? Because I'm sorry to interject, but he had mentioned to me earlier today that he had some concerns with the minutes. Fran, can you hear? Or you?
Oh.
Franny?
He might be on mute.
Can you unmute him, Joshua?
Franny calls in, so I don't know if he has the Zoom option to mute and unmute himself.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
Yes,
that's true.
please,
Yeah.
Joshua.
Fran, if you can call, I actually can't it says all I can do is ask to unmute. He'd have to unmute himself. So if there's a way, Fran, can you call back in? Looking here. Yeah, all it lets me do is ask to unmute, but it looks like he has to unmute. Oh, there you go.
Okay, there you go. Franny? Councilman on the board.
Fran?
Not sure if he's on.
I'm reluctant to move forward because if he has a question before we approve these minutes, but unfortunately,
Oh wait, here he comes.
Oh,
he muted him.
he muted himself. I didn't mute that.
Franny, can you hear us?
You're muted, Fran.
Oh, he was unmuted before. Now he is muted.
There he is.
Uh-huh.
Franny?
Franny, you're unmuted, so can you hear us?
Okay. All righty.
I think I heard him.
Can anybody call him?
He does a concern, and I don't want to move forward without that councilman expressing his concern. What's your take?
If you come back to it, I can
call him.
You want me to call him quickly and you can come back to that, to the minutes?
Yeah. Yes.
Jim, what's your thought? Can you go ahead, Mayor Penn, and call him in the meantime? I'm hearing from Jim.
Jim's muted too.
Jim, just unmute yourself.
Yeah, you could go ahead and act on the motion if Mr. O'Boyle wants to make a motion later to amend the minutes to pick up any concerns that he has, you could do that.
Okay. All right. So I do have any concerns or issues with our minutes. So I have a motion on the floor. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The aye carries. Okay, so we move down to President's report, but I have a statement that I need to address, and that should have been in my preliminary announcement. So
anybody hear me?
yeah,
Yes.
we can.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't vote on that because no one was listening. What I was saying is I read every minute, the 5 meetings, and there is errors in it. So do what you want. I could tell you what they are very quick by page number if that will help, and the date. Are you still there?
Yeah.
I am
if-
still here. So
Yeah.
okay,
What
if
do
you
you
want
want
to
me
go
to
ahead
do?
and address them if you wish.
Okay, on the meeting of 11/5, on page 2, the Arley grant was not for streetlights. It was for traffic signals. And I want to mention there is no treasurer's report and no bill list in those minutes. And the other thing on Joshua, no, I guess it's on not Joshua. I think it's on Joshua. It's stated there that his salary is $60,000 with benefits. But that means, in my opinion, when I read it, it means he's paid his own benefits. Okay, that's the one. Page on 1119, they're okay. On 1231, on page 3, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. On page 3, Patty, I guess, second the motion, and it just has Councilman P. I think her name should be in there. On page 4, instead of this has to do with enforcing the snow parked cars. It says local police instead of state police. I don't think the state police do our streets. And page 4 again under the Mertz, they are with CoStar. Brian told me that. It says they're not with CoStar.
Franny, just to correct you,
Yes.
when we reach out and ask that question, they told us that they were not with CoStar.
Well, he told me he was.
Yeah, they told us that they were
But
not.
Brian told me he was, so that's where I got it from. But you can do what you want on that. On January the 4th, on page 7, and this has to do with Joshua, it says they're including benefits or something like that. I don't know exactly, but it should say plus benefits. It says plus benefits, which tells him that he's paying for them. When I read it, $60,000 with benefits, it said, but it should say plus benefits. And there's no treasurer's report or bill list on that one either.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
So my advice to the office manager with those corrections that Councilman had outlined it, he was not a part of the vote, but in our next meeting, would like to see those changes.
Absolutely. We'll get those changed. Thank you, Councilman O'Boyle.
Right.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Ready. I have a statement that I need to make. Just about a year ago, I stood at a polling station with my name on the slate for voters. Cards were both Democratic and Republican. It was a bipartisan team. Franny O'Boyle was part of that group. Here we are 1 year later, and those same individuals who stood with us to call for a motion to remove Franny O'Boyle as vice president of the council. Franny O'Boyle was appointed to the council as the vice president. Franny Boy has given this borough, and it might be an understatement, about 56 years as borough president, as borough council, as mayor, and you name it, and a councilman. He has given a lot to this borough. He has given his service to this borough without asking for pay. You can always count on Franny. Franny and I have had our differences, but you can always count on him to show up at the borough to get things done. January 19th, a motion was made to remove Franny Boy. The motion was a vote of 4-3. Why I'm saying this and why am I outlining Franny Boy? Because this is an individual who has given enough to this borough. And I think at the end of the day, his service is still needed. He is known as pretty much as like an historian for the borough. You needed to know something about the borough that happened about 70 years ago or 65 years ago. You ask Franny Boy, he'll tell you all about it. What happened, what stand the borough took those years ago, and keep us. That is something that we need. So the motion was made and for Franny to be removed as vice president and the new vice president to take their seat today. I am, as council, as a voting member of the council, I am placing a motion on the table to nominate Franny Boy as vice president of council. I am putting a motion forward before we move forward. So I'm putting a motion. My motion is I nominate Franny Boy as vice president of council. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. So I've had a motion on the floor. I've had a second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Councilman
Can I speak?
Bucco.
Well, under the approval of minutes, there was a line for me to speak. I guess we weren't going to go in order. What I wanted to say in my statement is I first wanted to thank those council members that have the confidence in me to vote for me for that position. I know I could do the job. I don't have a problem there. But at this time, I do not want to accept the position for many reasons. One reason is this council is divided, just like this United States is divided. This council is divided. And I see that it's getting worse of a division. Second reason that I wouldn't want to go forward with it is I do have respect for Mr. Boyle. I do understand his years of service. I have a heart. I am a human. But when that vote came play, not any one of you guys would vote against yourself. So of course I voted for myself because I know I can do the job. Another reason why I don't want to be vice president, I don't feel I need a title to try to make a difference in Mount Pocono. Another reason, I would not ever be a check signer in Mount Pocono knowing that we have never gone forward on a forensic audit and only one person has done your for over 30 years. One set of eyes is terrible. Doing accounts payable, accounts receivable, one set of eyes. Those are just a few of the reasons I will not take a position. So if you let me do my statement first, you wouldn't need your motion, but do what you feel. Franny, I thank you for your service, and I also thank you for the history. And I do learn things from you, Fran. So that's how I feel.
Woman Bucco, we would still need a motion because a motion was in place to appoint you. So we would still need a motion to appoint Franny Boy again. Because
the motion was wrong. When it was done, it was wrong. We never took Fran out of the position. There should have been two motions. Should have been a motion to remove Mr. O'Boyle from that position and then do a nomination. You didn't have to be me, but that's how it should have been done.
Okay, thank you very much for that correction. Now we have a motion on the floor to appoint Councilman Franny O'Boyle as Vice President of the Council. I have a motion on the floor. I have a second. Any other discussion?
Do we technically, I guess a question for Jim, do we technically have to make a motion first? Not we, whoever, make a motion to remove Patty and then,
I think it's implicit in the motion to
Okay.
appoint the named person.
okay,
Yes,
just make sure.
okay. I have a motion on the floor. I have a second. Any other questions? All in favor?
I'm a yes.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do a roll call. Stacey Stewart Keeler. Unmute yourself, please.
Aye. You heard me?
Yeah, aye. Okay, Franny,
Mhm.
aye. Councilwoman Bucco,
Aye.
Councilman Neville,
Since Patty took herself out of the position, I would say yes.
Councilman Ron Emily. I didn't hear you. You're muted. You're muted.
Aye.
Councilwoman Martinez,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. The motion carried. Thank you all very much.
I thank you very much. I appreciate it. I didn't think it was right, and I meant it, and I said I was a big boy, I could take care of it. But I appreciate what you've done.
Randy, I have
very
one
much.
question for you. When that vote was
Go ahead.
cast, your first words out of your mouth was, "I'm going to sue." What did you mean by that?
I'm sorry,
No,
that is not a discussion that
I don't think I ever said that.
Councilman Boyle.
Huh.
Councilman Boyle,
Yes.
you will answer that question offline if you wish.
Okay.
This
My
discussion-
apologies. I just wanted to, it's in the minutes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
No, it's not.
Alrighty, I'll delay my president report and we'll move forward to the mayor's report.
I thank you, Claudette, for straightening this problem up.
You're welcome, Franny. I believe in you.
Thank you.
Mayor Penn.
You're muted,
Mayor
Mike.
Penn.
Mike, you're muted.
I got it. Okay. So I'm going to make this brief. It's 8:30. I'm just going to say snow. As everybody might have seen, yesterday we pre-activated the emergency operations plan that council had put in place last year. And that just basically enables the emergency management coordinator to start the process and talk to people, which she does anyhow. But if funds become available, then they're reimbursable if it's declared a state of emergency or an emergency event in Pennsylvania or by the federal government. So today, then, with the ongoing storm and wherever we are, if we're at 22 inches or 28, I don't know at the moment, but it's going overnight, and so we issued an emergency declaration today to going through Thursday. So that'll allow people, or allow the road crew to plow unimpeded, hopefully. Going forward, I think council will ask Jim Trombetta to do this, but we need to identify emergency snow routes. So, I think we know probably where they are. We have certain main corridors, but parking is allowed certainly on 611, but that can create a problem if in the event of an emergency. So I think there needs to be some discussion involving our emergency coordinator, how to best deal with that. So I think that's all I really want to say now. I just want to mention that we had those two events, the pre-activation plan and also the emergency declaration today. So in the event that the state or the federal government declares an emergency here, we can have hours, for instance, that were used for plowing reimbursed.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Jim Ferrari, I sent you a message. Can you please check your chat, please? And then once we get down to that piece, if you could just give me that answer.
Okay.
Right. Mayor, Borough Manager Joshua.
Sure, I'll breeze through everything. I know I did include the documents in the agenda packet, but let me just quickly share my screen here. Oh, 1 second. Can everybody see my screen? The report that's up. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just briefly, so we did get the AUP. The AUP was an independent audit of some of the from January 1st to November 19th, 2020, of some of our financials and documents. So I did include that in the packet. You can certainly read through that. But it looks like they, their findings were pretty good. They did not find any major discrepancies, and looks like everything was properly recorded and done with integrity. So that's certainly in there. And there's a letter I need to sign, and I'll send that back to them. I'm just going to quickly breeze through some of this. And like I said, this is all in the agenda packet. You can certainly look at that if you have any questions. I did include this memorandum. I know there were some questions about different board member terms, so I'm going to try to collect all the different board member terms for different boards, but we did post the vacancies that we had. We posted the one for, it was one for the municipal authority, there's one for the library, and I believe there was one other that I had posted, but that's certainly in there. And like I said, I'll try to make the other ones available as I come across them. We did have, the other one was actually the Planning Commission. So Mr. Kevin Kirkwood did resign, and I included that letter in the packet. I did get to speak with him. I haven't been able to work with him, just being here for a month and a half or so. But he had a lot of feedback, a lot of good things to say. And he's certainly still around if we need him, but he just felt it was time to kind of, move on and do some other things. He's been doing that for a while. So we do need a member for the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission does have an annual report, so I submitted that, just some of the things that they had done in 2020. And Jim Trombetta did include his vehicle expense report. You can certainly look over that, as well as a maintenance overview for January. You can look at that in your packets. And I believe, the calendar is also in there as well. You can take a look at that. And I believe that was all I had.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Any questions for Joshua?
Joshua, I think there was mention of the Arlie grant. I think we received the $47,000 for, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, we actually we did get the check for the Arlie grant. It was actually, let me just check here. It was $41,997. So we did get that.
And I think also there was a recycling grant for
Right.
98 maybe, or thereabouts.
Yeah, so there was a 90, they call it the 902 recycling grant. I did connect with Jim Lambert of the Waste Authority. Unfortunately, the state had, what's that?
That's a grant application. I'm talking about, there was a recycling grant that came in at the end of the year or just after the new year that we get every year, but it depends on what we recycle. So I think it was in the amount of 9,800. Do you?
I'll have to check on that. I didn't see that come through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Josh, I have a question for you.
Sure.
As far as the plowing today, did the road crew lay back a little bit? Because they only hit in front of my house once. That was about 12 o'clock. I know they're still coming down, so I don't know.
Yeah.
They're on our block right now. So they're out right now, but that's true. They came out earlier today and now they're back.
Okay, so if you remember, we spoke about this, and when I came into the meeting, I spoke about the fact that we did have a meeting prior to this, a personnel meeting that took us to this a delay. We did explain the reason why, And I will go ahead and explain the reason why. We had suspended one of our road crew. And so therefore we're down one man. And unfortunately we had that snow. So we did ask that you please oblige the individuals that are working, that the speed at which they used to work will be slower, because we're down one individual. So it's gonna take them a little bit longer to do what they need to do.
Oh, I totally understand that. I just was, sometimes people lay back when the snow is 2, 3 days long, and they hit it when the snow stops.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I know they've been out and about, but as soon as they complete it, it's still, it's coming down. So unfortunately, it'll look as if they're not doing anything, but they've been out.
Okay, thank you, Joshua and Claudette.
I have
Councilwoman
a
Nabucco.
question for Joshua.
Go ahead.
Joshua, in the future, I know, you're fairly new with us, but in the future, will we be getting packets earlier?
Yeah, so that's my hope. We are working. I'm working with President Williams on the timeline of how, as we get the agenda out, if as best we can get the agenda compiled, and then somewhat finalized, then it allows me to actually be able to gather those items that are going to be on the agenda. So yeah, I do apologize. This one went out, I believe, Friday evening. I was still there. I sent it out. It was my hopes to try to get it out at least by Thursday, noon, but we can work on that. I mean, probably Thursday is probably the soonest right now that we'll be able to get those items out, because things are always kind of added to it and we're playing around with it. But we'll definitely work on trying to move it up earlier and earlier.
Because in the past we had asked, before you came on board with us, we had asked if we could get the packet on the Wednesday before the meeting. So because everybody does have a life, and I know for me, I would have loved to pick my packet up of 86 pages. But with the snowstorm, I could not. So with all that being said, don't you have a cutoff for agenda items?
Not set in stone, not that I know. I mean, if something comes up and it needs to, it needs to get into the meeting, we're gonna add it into the meeting. But yeah, let me certainly talk. I mean, actually, I could talk with President Williams and we can certainly try to bump that ahead. I think we were trying to get the agenda somewhat finalized by Wednesday, but we can certainly, I can work with President Williams and we can try to do that earlier if we get it finalized by maybe that Monday. I don't know if that's too early, but we can try to get everything at least on there by Monday. That at least give me a couple of days to collect all the items, and then move from there.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, moving along. Anything else from you, Joshua?
No, that was all.
Okay. Treasurer's report. Danielle?
He's probably muted too.
Danielle, you want to unmute?
There. Josh, I don't have any report. You have it in your packet?
Yeah, I have it. You want to just go
Okay.
over? I'll pull it up here and
Pull it up, just show, pull it up. Yes, pull up the budget and scroll down. Go ahead, income. Go ahead. Go ahead. Up a little more. Whoa, stop. Go back down. Mayor Penn, here's the, I'm touching the screen. Here's the recycling grant income. And then here's the Artie grant income.
There we go. Okay.
Okay?
Yep, good.
That was deposited. Okay. You have the bills list?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that? No, on the budget?
Josh, there's some of the council people that I don't think have the bill list. I don't have it.
So all that was emailed on Friday.
And I understand Mike didn't have it neither. When I called him and asked if he had it, because I was going to have him send it to me, the mayor.
And Mike, you didn't get the email, is what you're saying? The packet?
No, I have the email. I have the packet here.
So what was it you didn't get? You didn't get the bills list? I'm confused.
Fran was asking for, I believe, the treasurer's report.
Right, right,
The bill
right,
list.
which includes the
bill
bill.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the
I didn't
email,
get
but I
anything
didn't
on
get
the
any
treasurer.
packet.
If you wanted if the bills list is in the packet here, that was emailed.
Okay, I never got it.
I never got it either.
We just spoke.
The packet.
Okay, so I am going to,
73 out of 86.
I am going to move this along and give you a chance to look at the bill list and the package itself. If you can, Joshua, if you could go ahead and email that to individuals, look at it, and then I'll come back and ask for a motion later on. I don't want to go ahead and ask for a motion and have people voting on something they haven't seen. So you please check your email. You should have that with you, and then you could go ahead and I'll call for a motion, a treasurer's motion at a later time in the meeting.
Who did not get it? Is it just Councilman Neville and Councilman O'Boyle?
Yes.
From what I understand, from my understanding, is that 86 pages that was sent out?
That's correct.
Yeah, I didn't receive that.
Councilman Keeler, you're muted. But are you saying you don't have it either?
Yeah, I didn't get it either.
So it's in the same, okay, I'll send it out. It's the same email that we sent the link. It's the same email thread that we sent the Zoom link out, but I'll resend it.
No, I didn't get that. That's what I was telling you earlier. I didn't get anything about the executive session. The last thing I got from you was the draft of the meeting. The draft of the agenda.
All right, I'll send it.
Okay, so he'll go ahead and send those out and get a chance to take a look at it. And just before the end of our meeting, I'll go ahead and ask for an approval on our treasurer's report and our bill pack.
Okay.
Ahead to our zoning officer.
Hi, guys. Actually, my report is pretty short. It's included in your packet in that actually it's not included in the packet. I sent it separate, but in the same email thread. But I'll hit the highlights. Basically, construction, as you can imagine, has kind of come to a screeching halt with the freezing temperatures and snow cover. I did go out on Thursday to the Hirschland site and accompanied the conservation district representative and just getting a good look at what's going on, where we are. Again, like I said, the place was snow covered, but we do have things in place for once the melt off happens and making sure that proper stabilization is in place. Driving by, you may have noticed that one of the structures had started going up. That came to a halt because they realized that they did not have things in place to temporarily heat the structure while they were pouring the concrete. So that will not resume until temperatures subside a little. And now, one other thing I do want to touch on, and I touch on it every meeting, is regarding our short-term rentals, because I never know who's listening, who's on, but I just want to continue to remind everyone that short-term rentals are not allowed in R1 districts. It's continuing to happen. We are documenting these so that council knows, but just this is mainly out for the residents. Just a reminder, it is not allowed in the R1 zone. We are in a position, I know the mayor asked, I believe last meeting, where we stood with the transition for permit manager. I spoke to our permit manager tech, and he is ready to go once we kind of get everything situated on the IT front in the office. I don't want to do it prior to making sure everything else is copacetic, because once we go that route, we can't come back. So it's ready to go, and I will help, coordinate that effort with our IT efforts. And then the last thing I just want to touch on, I'm sure you probably all saw or heard the news. We've had quite a few fires in the borough. One happened at 16 Church Avenue and the other one at 39 Seneca. I've reached out to both owners. They're varied as far as the damage. Everybody, to my understanding, is safe. There were no injuries to person in those, but just want to send out a reminder to the community, especially in these cold months, that we need to be diligent as far as like overloading our systems and the appliances that we use. Just be very careful and, mindful moving forward.
Alexis, I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's your department or not, but when that fire was on Seneca, the fire company hooked up to the fire hydrant right across the street from my house on Brunswick, ran the hoses all the way down Brunswick, all the way up Seneca, when it could have went to Seneca and Crestwood, where there's a fire hydrant, and there will only be a couple hundred yards away. Is that fire hydrant working?
I'm not sure, but I can check into it for you.
Yeah, I can't understand why they went from Brunswick Drive around there when they could hook up in the corner and they'd be right there.
Yeah, understood. And I will do my best to try to contact someone to make sure that that they're aware of it, and two, to find out if there was an issue that we're unaware of them connecting to it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One of the things that I'll ask of zoning, and it's becoming my pet peeve, is about BV. So I didn't see anything on it, Alexis. So I trust that we'll be having a conversation next month in regards to BV.
Okay, fair enough. Yep.
Thank you. Solicitor Jim Ferrari.
I wanted to alert everybody that Mr. Hirschland has determined to make his project a condominium. And what that means, under the Condominium Act, he can prepare a condominium plan and file that. That is not considered a subdivision under the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code or our ordinances. But it is going to be a condominium project, which means that the separate parcels are going to be owned by separate entities. There's going to be common areas, and there's going to be an association that takes care of those common areas. Larry called me and talked to me about this. I reviewed it with our engineer, Chuck Nicholas. We're all on the same page. He's going to provide to us the plan that he's filing with the recorder's office and the declaration, the condominium declaration, for our edification going forward. If there's issues up there, we may have to deal with the separate owners of the condominium units and the association, but it's not a subdivision. We can't review it under the subdivision ordinance. So that's just a point of information, and I should be able to get those plans to the borough within the next week or so. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
Jim, Ron probably can give you a better answer on this. He may have a problem with the EDUs for that condominium if it's going to take more than what he has.
If they don't have the number of EDUs that they need, that's a problem for them. I'm not aware of.
Yes, I know.
They have them or they don't.
They should make sure before they start.
Okay.
I can get back to Larry and say, make sure you got the proper number of EDUs.
Was this the intent of the property when construction began, and why wasn't it presented to council like that at that time?
Because the answer to that is it doesn't have to be. If he wants to have a condominium form of ownership, there's nothing under the Saldo or the zoning ordinance that requires him to. He could do that, 10 years from now if he wanted to. It doesn't. He's not changed. There's nothing in terms of what we approved that he's changing. The footprints are all exactly what we approved. The infrastructure is all exactly what we approved. So that doesn't change any of that. It's just the form of ownership goes from him owning everything to it being a condominium form of ownership. It really shouldn't change anything.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mike, ask Mike Gozer to get unmuted. He might be able to answer that. I'd have to look into it. Maybe Mike knows something.
Well, it's not a topic on the EDU right now. It's a matter of what the solicitor wanted to inform of us what is going to be taken in the project. So,
I'll contact Larry and say, make sure you have the proper EDUs.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
I have nothing else. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much. We have no persons to be heard. Unfinished business, tax collector. What we'll like to do, as we spoke about it actually on the 19th, we spoke about our tax collector resigning and what we need to do in order to make sure that we move forward until election time frame when someone is elected into that position. So what I'm asking for is a motion to adopt an ordinance that was provided by our solicitor.
It's not an order, Claudette, it's a resolution. And what we're doing is we're going to temporarily for 1 year do an agreement with Coolbaugh Township, which will provide that their tax collector, probably mispronounce his name, Grash Wasiniak. Gratz, he's going to be the tax collector for the next year until we can get another tax collector elected. There's a provision under the tax law that permits us to do that. I've worked with the Coolbaugh solicitor, Pat Armstrong, to fashion an agreement between our two municipalities that will permit Mr. Wasiniak to do that. And we've pretty much hammered out 99% of it. So what we would do tonight is adopt a resolution that would provide that the borough would be authorized to enter into a joint agreement with Coolbaugh for that purpose. And then we would work out the details of that agreement and sign that agreement probably sometime later this week. And basically what it provides is that he will be the tax collector for the next year. He would get the same fees as our tax collector does. And to the extent that he has any additional fees, for his offices in Coolbaugh, that he would have any additional fees, that the borough would be responsible for those, and those should be modest. So I would recommend the council adopt that so we have a tax collector for our next year.
Okay, so we're adopting the resolution and then also going ahead and adopting the agreement appointed to appoint Gratz, correct? So we need the two motions.
Yeah, we'd have an agreement to the resolution actually says we can enter into the agreement. So if we approve the resolution, we have authority to enter into the agreement.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Okay, so I'd like a motion to adopt.
I'll also move that we, this is Fran Boyle.
Okay.
I'll also move that we adopt the tax collector's resolution.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll second it.
So I have a motion on the floor. I have a second. Councilman Neville's.
Yes, to Jim Ferrari, Coolbaugh entered the same agreement with us, right? They're accepting it?
Yeah, Coolbaugh actually is, Pat told me they have a meeting tomorrow and they're going to vote tomorrow to adopt a similar resolution to what we're doing tonight. And then after they adopt that, we actually can sign the agreement, which says that their tax collector collects our taxes for the next year.
Right. And his office is in their municipal building.
That's correct.
Right.
And
Thank you.
Jim, do we need a separate resolution, compensation resolution at any point after this, or?
No, we don't, Mike, because the agreement addresses that. The agreement we're going to enter into addresses that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I have a motion on the floor. I have a second. Any other questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the aye carries. All right, the next one, a motion to adopt the ordinance number 3 of 2021, establishing the millage rate for 2021.
Excuse me, Claudette, that last motion we made was for Gratz to be there with us. There was two motions, right?
No, it was, Tom, it's one motion. It's one
Right.
motion, Tom, to adopt a resolution authorizing us to enter into an agreement with Coolbaugh Township to provide that their tax collector is our tax collector for next year.
Right.
So it's two motions in one, basically.
Right. That we accept Gratz as the tax
Correct.
collector for the year.
Right.
Okay, I just want to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I just add that motion to adopt the ordinance number 3 to establish a millage rate for 2021. I have a motion. May I have a motion in a second, please?
So
I'll
make the
gotta make it.
motion.
Claudette, I'll make that motion that we adopt the resolution number 3 establishing the millage rate for 2021.
And I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. I have a second. Any discussion?
Just for the record, that was the ordinance number 3 as opposed to the resolution, Fran.
Ordinance number 3.
Ordinance, yeah.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the aye carries. I know these gentlemen are just like waiting, like, oh my God. So, I mean, I know next time we'll adjust our agenda and maybe put our new business up front versus, So thank you all very much for staying on. I see we have Luke on still, and who do we have? I guess.
Chris is coming back on.
Okay. All right then. So what we have had our presentation earlier tonight in regards to the different websites. We had several questions that I trust was answered. What we would like to do and what I would like to do is ask for a motion. If the council think that they're ready to go forward with a motion so we could get this ball rolling, as they stated, takes them anywhere between 60 and 90 days to complete this project. And we've been waiting for a long while. So I would like to ask the council for a motion if they are ready to go ahead and they think they've had enough information for motion to go ahead and move forward in hiring one of these different vendors to go ahead and create our website. So just keep in mind, we had 2 vendors on tonight, and we have Chris English that was on before, and then we have Kevin and Luke from Proud City. And what's the name of Chris?
Chris English Designs.
Oh, Chris English Design. Okay.
Yeah, and can I just make one quick statement, Clyde, before they make that? So let me just I wanted to wait till the end to kind of like make sure everyone had a chance to look at both proposals and then, be a little bit more vocal at the end. So obviously there's 2 very different, I think, options, and that's okay. I think coming into it though, I think we've been very civil, Mike, about this, just coming in and presenting it to everybody. But with all honesty, as I was hired as borough manager, the main priorities that I made were computer purchases. We needed that technology. We needed the IT professional, and then a website was third. And then we also need the phone system and the security system. And that's all that we're working on. So I jumped in right away. I then realized, it came to me that some other people had been looking at, different options, IT, and also websites. So IT, just like I brought it to you, I already looked at different research-led options, brought you the IT professional, thought that was the best one to go with. I was planning to do that with the website, but then I discovered, obviously, so Alexis was working on a website proposal. The mayor was working on a website proposal. So a lot of people were looking at it. Alexis kind of gave me that information and I took it over, and that was one of the demos I did. So everything that we did tonight, I did that with 3 separate companies, Proud City being one of them. They were the second one. After looking at all the options, like I said, then the mayor, kind of made it known that he was also looking at someone. And so I think out of respect, we wanted to look at all the options together. My opinion is that we're going to get the best option with Proud City. Now, you all can make your decision, certainly.
I'm surprised you came in.
What's that?
Somebody mute her.
Oh, and obviously you all can make your own decisions, but like I said, we're bringing this because, the mayor and I couldn't quite agree on what option to go with, and I think that's okay. So we brought it to the council to see if, we can have a healthy discussion. Like I said, my opinion is that Proud City, we're getting the bang for the buck, and it's not just, I know that the argument is, well, Chris English, he's local, or perhaps some other things that you could mention. I think with Proud City, one of the things is that not only did we see the meetings platform, we saw the payments platform, but we also saw, the price for what we're getting, I think is a pretty affordable price. I think also the experience, and I think that goes without saying. I would be concerned going with a company who doesn't have experience building a government website. I think that's just a risk that we can't take. We need our website to be, it's going to be our flagship component. It's going to be our hub for information distribution. It's going to be a hub for not just a website, but digital government services. So in my opinion, I believe that, Proud City is going to be the best option moving forward. But I certainly want to, hear what council's thoughts are.
Okay.
This is Ida. Can I Wait, well, should we make a motion first and then discuss, or should we discuss before?
That is what I asked for, a motion that we.
All right, well, I'd like to make a motion to vote for Proud City on this position. Somebody
Okay.
wants to second that?
I have a motion on the floor. May I have a second?
Was that, I think
you-
Stacy, are you?
you
I'll
guys-
second.
Okay, so let me say this. If we have a motion on the floor, we have a second.
I want to discuss when you get a chance.
We will open the floor to discussion. Once we have the discussion and we take a vote, if the vote is not enough to carry us, and then we need to go ahead and do a second motion, then we'll also do so. We can also have the second motion on the floor at the same time if we wish. Okay, but I'll open the floor at the moment for discussion. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Okay, so first and foremost, I really wanted to, and I still am kind of conflicted. I did want Joshua's opinion based on the fact that both he and the office staff would be dealing with it a lot more than we as council people will. So I believe that it's their opinion that matters most in this situation. But of course, I want to support someone local. I want to be able to keep it close to home and know that we have that one-on-one person that will come to us physically when in need. But nothing beats the experience of a company that specifically deals with government websites. And I don't want to go year after year where we have to continuously update and update and update and try to play catch up like we've been doing in the past. If we go with what is, I guess, I don't know, well, what's best from the beginning, regardless of the cost, maintenance is a lot less expensive than having to continuously change. So for that reason, I am voting for Proud City, and I believe that they are going to be.
You have to wait on that, please. We need to finish up our discussion before we go ahead.
Okay, well, that's why they have my support at this point. Thank you.
All righty, any other discussion?
President Williams, I'd like to make a comment or a question.
1 second, please, Mike. I have Ron hand up, then I go to Mike, and then I'll look at the board again. Go ahead, Councilman Emily.
The only thing that I noticed tonight when they were both giving their reports, that when Mr. English was giving his report, Proud City kept on putting little comments up above, like, if you can do this, we can do this better. If they're going to do this, we can do that. I did not like the fact that they were interrupting Mr. English when he was giving his report.
Mr. Emily, I would just say, I think that was because, and that was my fault, because the questions were being posed, and I think we were trying to keep up with the questions that were in the chat. So I can definitely tell you, I mean, that's my responsibility. That was certainly my fault, but that, I don't think they were saying they could do something better. There were a lot of questions going in the
Right,
chat.
but even though you put, they were still on. I still saw them.
But Councilman Emily, Ron Emily, that was one of the statement that I made, is that for people to go ahead and put their statement in the chat. So that was one of the instruction that I gave out when we started out. And the reason I did that, because I knew there would be a lot of questions. And so as to get the questions in the chat, go ahead and answer those questions. This is why you had those questions in the chat. Mike Hauser.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam President. The one big question I did not see an answer to, in reference to security of the website. Last year, the year before, the website was duplicated from a mountpocono-pa.org to a mountpoconopa.com, which has confused quite a few of the residents in the borough and caused quite a bit of heartburn as well. So the question to both components or to the council is that will the website be secure enough that this will not happen again?
And I'll open that floor up to Luke, who I can see. I don't see Mr. English or anyone from his company here, but I'll open the floor up to Luke for the time being until I see someone else from the other vendor on. Luke.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, the internet is crazy. It's the Wild West, right? We're living that right now. I guess the question is, Mike, so somebody took your website and copied it and just put it on a different.
It was via the back end.
We didn't hear you, Mike.
It was via the back end. So it was
Okay.
integrated on the back end.
So somehow, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the details behind that, but you know, the way that we work is, you know, we work to ensure the privacy of, you know, how we're hardening the security on the back end, and we have, you know, forced strong passwords so people can't log in. You can't really copy, you know, the back end on our end unless you have access to it. And you know, we use two-factor authentication for all the login and security. So you know, we're pretty dialed into how we protect the security, but you know, in this world when major corporations are getting hacked, you know, you can never be 100% secure. So I would never, if anybody told you they could do that, they'd be lying to you. But you know, we take security precautions that you know, try to eliminate what apparently happened to your current website.
Thank you. Mayor Penn, do you have any question in regards to Mr. English? I have, let me identify the individuals. I have identified Alexis, I have identified Patty Bucco, and I've identified Tom Nevels in that order once the mayor is finished. Mayor Penn.
Just one quick comment. I wanted to, Chris had sent me a text. There was a question earlier, it relates, it's security. So I believe, I think it was Luke who commented about security updates being rolled out via subscription every 2 weeks. And Chris wanted to make sure everyone understood that they're offering security updates for free without the need for a contract. So I think it's equal in terms of security. I mean, both sides are rolling out security. So
I think I might be mistaken what they spoke about, and only because I saw the presentation, was that security update will be given every 2 weeks. They will continue to be updating stuff every 2 weeks or stuff, but it wasn't at a cost. If I'm not mistaken.
It was a cost, yeah.
It was.
No, you're talking about Proud City.
Yes, Proud City.
No, there was no cost for the update. That's included in the plan.
But let Luke say that, because that's part of their subscription, he was saying.
Yeah, it's included in the subscription, as well as like accessibility updates, which you know, takes there's a lot of work that goes into account, you know, when you're updating accessibility, and it's just like if you're, you know, got a sophisticated financial structure, right? When IRS comes, you want to hire somebody that knows how to do your taxes. And for us, you know, we're taking accessibility, you know, we're following accessibility and updating those, you know, as we see issues. We're working with counties who have accessibility experts, and they're, you know, giving us advice on how we can build accessibility back into the product. So we're doing that, you know, and government especially is, you know, continuously getting hit with accessibility issues, and even more and more, you know, legal issues. So much like with, you know, financial, right? Like if you have a complicated financial structure, you hire an accountant to make sure that IRS, if they come and audit you, you don't go to jail. You want to make sure that you have somebody that, especially if you're government, making sure that you're addressing security and privacy issues, but also accessibility issues on a regular basis, because, you know, you don't want to be vulnerable for either one of those.
Okay, thank you. Alexis.
Yeah, so my question kind of piggybacks off of Mr. Oz's question. I assume that we would continue with our existing domain. So is there a way that either company, I've seen other websites do it, where we can flag or tag ours as the official website?
I think that it was mentioned, y'all have a .gov address, or if you don't, for the new website, you should definitely retain that or get one. But that is the way to ensure that, you're communicating that you're officially a .gov. Otherwise, it's just really hard. I mean, the federal government has a little banner that says official government website, but, unfortunately, anybody can, as Christopher
It is a .gov.
and we could
You have a
both design that banner on any website. So yeah, so you've already taken a big step, especially compared to most cities, in ensuring that you're communicating that you're an official .government website.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Neville's.
I think Patty was before me.
Yeah, I think Council Booker was next.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I think that since this is a council meeting and it is of the council people should be heard first. But that being said, I don't really feel comfortable voting on either one tonight since we just were given this information. I want to look at our budget to see where we stand with the cost. I don't want to move forward this year and just saying, yeah, let's go for it. Let's spend money, and we might not have. That's my opinion.
And I could answer that. I'm not counteracting. I'm just saying the budget you all budgeted before I got here, $8,000 for a new website. So I would say both proposals are actually well underneath that cost for this year.
Well, the monthly charge though on the one is at $1,800. Is that in the budget?
Right. So
that's not monthly.
No, that's not.
It's annually. So it's $150 a month.
That's correct. So I think the one, they were both under. I think Proud City was like 6,300. Out the door call one year for this year would be a total of 6,300. I think. Chris, Mike, do you remember the price from Chris English? It was
6,100. Yeah.
So it's about the same. So they're both under 6,500. That's just this year that you would be paying. So that's well under the $8,000. Then each additional year you would have to budget either 1,800 or 1,200, depending on which package and company you go with.
Okay. Right, and I understand that. And Joshua, you also said you had a third company, but we didn't hear anything about that company. Is there a reason why?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, the way I plan to do things, and it's like the same as I did for the IT company. I didn't show you all three options I didn't have all three IT people come into the Zoom and then let them kind of debate. I had done the research, looked at all three, and then picked the best one for the needs of the office. And I feel like that was definitely kind of why you hired me to kind of cut out some of the back and forth. And that was what I was planning on doing with the website. But like I said, there was another one that the mayor had looked at, and I didn't want to just, cut that out. So so we kind of made the agreement, let's just bring them both to the Zoom meeting and we'll let council kind of look at it. So the other options for websites, they're not even on the table. They're not something that I would even, bring up and consider at this point.
Actually, I just want to mention that Chris English is on if anyone has any direct questions.
Well, I just wanted to say one thing. I feel, and Joshua, I value your opinion. You're sitting there doing the legwork for us, and I appreciate that. That is why we hired you, to do that, so we could all back off that kind of things. But I also feel that it's a little bit of an influence going forward. You're kind of influence us toward Proud City. That's the way I'm feeling right now.
Oh, and that's true. Councilman Buck, I'm not denying that at all. Because as from my borough manager position, it's the same thing with Rodney, who we brought in with ARGS for the IT professional. I didn't bring on all 5 of the IT professionals and ask you to just make a decision. I had already looked at that research. I had done the telephone quotes. I had gotten the research. I looked at everything. I did the demos. And then I brought to you the best one. As I looked at the budget, I brought to you the best one. So I did that research on my own. Same thing with the website. I did the research on my own. If I didn't know that the mayor had another person that he was looking at, I simply would have brought to you, Proud City and said, hey, I did my research. I looked at 3 different companies. I'm asking you to trust my professional opinion and trust me in this position as borough manager to move forward with this website, which I feel is the best to go with. So no, you're absolutely right that
Well, as a council person that needs to make a decision for the taxpayers, I like everything that I do. I like 3 quotes. So I like to have, I have professional opinion myself on things, and I hope that the rest of council does as well. I appreciate you absolutely doing the legwork, but if you're going to bring me one company for like IT or phones or websites, I will have a problem with that.
Okay. All right, Councilman Neville.
Yes, I just want to make a statement. As I always did, and we go over these things that certain, the road crew needs a new truck or the office needs a new website or a phone system. I basically leave it up to the people that are going to be using the system, that did the legwork and such, and have confidence in them to which one they think would be the best for the money and for the council and the borough itself. But, and to get back to councilperson Patty Bucco, I too think maybe we just got all this information real quick. Maybe we should table it a little bit, and maybe at the next work session, we can vote on it.
I do have a motion on the floor, and I have also a second which open up for discussion. Now I could defer to the solicitor, but I do have.
Well, unless the person that made the motion wants to withdraw it and the person that makes the second wants to withdraw it, you have a motion on the floor that has to be voted on. If that person wants to withdraw it and you want to defer voting to a meeting in the future, that's up to that whoever made the motion, who I don't remember who it was.
Okay, that's Ada Montanez and Stacy Stewart Keeler. Do you wish to withdraw your motion, or do you want to go forward with it?
I don't wish to withdraw, because why are we going to put it off?
Joshua made a statement, and Councilman Neville's made the statement before, saying that we have hired Joshua for a reason, and we should move him forward and turn things over to him. I mean, he made that at our last meeting. I think if he did the work, whatever it is, he brings it to the council. The councilwoman is saying that she would like all 3 motions. That means we going back and forth. We're getting 3 vendors to come forward to present to us. I would say that we trust that whoever we put in those positions to do that job, that we allow them to do that job, and hoping that that they would do the best thing for the borough. But if that's what the council at the end of the day wants, then it's fine. Councilwoman Montanez, do you want to withdraw your motion?
I don't want to withdraw my motion at this time. Like I stated, when I made the motion for a discussion, it was intended, in my position, like I said, to support the staff that's going to be using it. I would like to ask Alexis her opinion as well, because again, she is one of the only people in the office that is actually making collections financially that would be affecting her, and which system she, in her opinion, she would be leaning forward. I was asking both employees that when I made the motion.
Alexis?
I would just say I don't unfortunately know enough about either. Based on their presentation this evening, it seems like either one would be able to address my direct needs. My direct needs are getting, obviously, forms and applications accurately up on the website, obviously having our ordinances, and the e-commerce part, I believe, is very important, but both vendors express that they can do that. I guess my only other input would be as far as the QuickBook component. I will say that currently I didn't get a chance to weigh in before, but my only, I guess, comment or question that would still be remaining outstanding is that if we don't have the QuickBooks interaction, how will we then track and make sure that the information gets from tagging from my department to our treasurer? Because currently the way the process works is if I take in an application, I take in a fee, I receipt that fee out of the zoning department receipt book, and then I give a copy of that receipt and the check to our treasurer, and that's how it gets entered into the system. So that would be my only concern moving forward, is how we track the redundancy moving forward. But other than that, I'm okay with what was presented on either end.
Okay.
I have one more question. I know that they both stated it would take about 60 to 90 days to develop the website. So with that being the case and us all being presented the information just today, if there is a way that we can put this off until our next meeting for a vote. But I'll still leave my vote on my motion on the floor, just because, you know, it's already there.
You have you're asking that it be put off until the next meeting, but at the same time, you do have the option to remove it from the floor. So why go through the motion of going through the votes and then at the same time requesting that it be put off until next month? It can be either or. So I'm
stating I don't have a problem with it being put off. If that's the consensus with everyone, I can withdraw it, but I don't have a problem voting on it today, is my point.
Hey, do you have to say whether you're withdrawing it or not?
I'll withdraw it then.
Okay. So
okay. Okay, and so then we withdraw it, and then what is the next step? You're saying now we're gonna go out and get 3 more people to look at?
No, I think what we are doing is taking it now to the work session, give the council enough time to take a look at it, the 2 options that we have, and then come back to the table at our next work session and vote on. That's what we will be doing.
Okay.
Jim, you had a
what? Yeah, Claudette, why don't you say that at the latest, it will be an agenda item for the next regular meeting. If you want to address it at the work session, you can do that, just to bring some finality to it.
Okay, for the next regular meeting.
We do have the option to vote during our work session. It's part of our new schedule, so I don't know why we would have to put it off until February.
Yeah,
I agree.
We had put in place where at the end of our work session, we'll do an additional meeting in order to be able to vote on an issue that needs to be voted on before the regular first of the month meeting.
Okay.
And that was advertised. So that would be the time frame. Can I get a time frame on that, Joshua? When is the date on that?
Sorry, it's muted. Are you the date for the next work session?
Yeah, just publicly say it out.
I believe it's the 15th. That the next work session would be February 15th. That's a Monday.
Right, but that's President's Day. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Yeah.
A holiday.
So
I believe it would be the 16th.
You want to kick it to the 16th? That's the same thing we did, yeah, for MLK Day. So it'd be Tuesday, February 16th at I believe we do the work sessions at 6 p.m.
No,
we do the work session at 7, and then we have like an 8:30 vote short meeting where we can vote on. So I think as it stands right now, that is the only thing that we have to vote on in that next meeting. So we could go ahead and do that vote. Okay, Councilman Neville, and then we're going to move on.
Okay, thank you, Claudette. Just to clarify, so we're going to table it until the work session so we can research more on our own. And then at the work session, we're going to discuss it. Then at the end of the work session, we're going to vote on our situation.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All righty.
Claudette, can
Yes.
I think you went over item number 3 at the top of the agenda on the second page, where a motion to adopt an agreement to appoint Coolbaugh Township tax collector as a Mount Pocono Borough tax collector for the remainder of 2021.
We did that, Fran. We did that.
You did it? Did you have the agreement? I thought you just made it that we were going to do it.
No, we made a motion.
Voted on it.
We made a motion.
You made the motion for both of them then.
Yeah, we made a motion.
We had the
approve it.
ordinance the motion to adopt the tax collector's resolution. But
Yeah, the resolution authorizes us to enter into an agreement with Coolbaugh Township, so you only need one.
Oh,
motion.
okay. I thought you needed another agreement.
No problem.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I'm with you.
Thank you very much. So next is our planning committee president resigned. So I need a motion to accept his resignation for Mr. Kevin Kirkwood.
Claudette, may I ask you a question? Did he put a letter of resignation in?
He did. He did.
Okay. Thank you.
May I have a motion, please? You're welcome.
I'll make a motion to accept Kirkwood's resignation letter from Pocono, from the Mount Pocono Municipal Building.
Planning
Planning
Commission.
Commission.
Planning, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have a motion. May I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? And before I go to the discussion, I just want to jump back over to Luke and to Chris English, just to let you guys know that the council have decided to table this, put this off until our work session, give them a chance to look at some other things and to look over your presentation just a bit more. And then we will vote on this on February 16th. So I want to say once again, thank you very much for your time. I don't want to keep you guys on any longer. And so this is why. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Also, President Williams, at some point, I think we need to go back to we didn't approve the bills because I think a
Yes,
few
I do have
members.
that on.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have that on my list. Okay.
You didn't finish this motion.
Yeah.
You didn't finish the motion for the planning.
Do we make you made the motion to accept his Kevin Kirkwood.
Excuse me.
And you seconded it too, right? First and second discussion.
Excuse me, Franny. If you remember, what I stated was I have a motion and I have a second. However, I just want to take this time to tell those individuals
I know.
thank you so they don't be staying on the line.
Yes, I know that.
I'll come
Now
back to
you're
the
done with that,
I
right?
have a
All
motion
right.
and I have a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes. This is Fran O'Boyle. I just like to say Kevin's going to be really missed because I think he's been planning commission chairman for about 30 plus years. So we're going to miss him greatly.
Okay.
Yep, he did a great
That's
job.
all I want to say.
Ditto. He did a really amazing job of welcoming me on board and bringing me up to speed. And sort of like we said with Franny, he's definitely a historian and his input will be greatly missed.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So I have a motion on the floor. I have a second. All in favor
Aye.
of accepting?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes carry. Okay, and so therefore we'll now have to make that advertise it to make sure that we're looking, we need someone, or what we will do is we'll maybe discuss this in our work session, maybe whoever is the, what is it? How do you have vice president?
Alternate.
Yeah, that will be moving up. So that's a discussion in our work session. I also need have a motion. I hadn't received this letter, but Franny, you passed this on that Mr. Robert Lansdome wanted to resign
Yes.
from his position.
His wife told me.
Okay, so you know what?
He's
I'm gonna take that
89
off.
years old.
Until you get a letter, you don't
But
vote.
I'm
he's
taking
89
that
I don't
off.
have the
years old
letter.
and his wife
You need to
wants
get a letter.
to-
We don't vote till we get a letter.
Yeah, okay, we're
You get
gonna,
a letter? That's what I told her. All right, just let that stand. I'll make sure he gets the letter.
okay.
I told her that.
Jim, we had a feedback from Gretchen tonight that we probably, and I'm not sure if, I had a motion to terminate a borough employee, but should we move forward with that? Or I think I would rather, I am going to leave that on the back. And then.
Okay, why don't you, since the Labor Council is involved, why don't we defer that to a later time?
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so another issue that we have been discussing at the branch, we've had some meeting with the bank has been, we've been banking with F&B in Tannersville for a while, I guess, ever since, I'm not sure how long, but that has been our bank. We have had some issues and we have looked at some of our fees and looked at what we are paying and what we are being charged for. We have visited another bank, MBT, which is in Mount Pocono. We've had conversation with the bank and their government sector of the bank. And we have decided and make a decision that after looking at both banks and looking at the fee and what we'll be saving, the cost, that we would consider moving to NBT. Now, NBT, they have, when we look at the fee in comparison to FNB, the fees were a bit lower. We were paying for stuff that we really didn't need. And plus we're paying for, which we should be, and we have not been doing that, is paying Danielle for her travel back and forth, so, deposits to the bank. While here with NBT, it would be a walking distance. Also, we were paying for a scanner because of the fact that the bank is in Tannersville. We could still have the scanner if we wish and want to continue to pay for scanning, while we can actually, it's on the sidewalk of the borough building, go to NBT. We look at some of our fees, we would be saving on our fees. One of the things, the difference with the NBT, the FNB and the NBT is that the NBT, there's no interest, and FNB has an interest. However, what they charge us for the fee, we end up, and the interest that we receive, if you know what the interest rate is, it doesn't value anything. So we're showing more going out than we are receiving. It's open. I would like a motion to change bank from FNB to NBT, and then we open the floor for discussion.
I'll make the motion to transfer to NBT Bank for our banking and leave the other one. What was the other one?
FNB.
FNB. I'll
SMB.
second it.
First
I'll
National.
second.
Okay, now the floor is open for discussion. So I have a motion to change bank from FNB to NBT. I have a motion, I have a second. The floor is open for
I
discussion.
have a question. Claudette.
So I have Frania Boyle
somebody.
and Connie Evans.
Okay, I'll go first. Has anybody contacted People Security, which is right across the street from, let's say, almost us, Mrs. San Diego, the fire company? They give you interest on your balance of your checking account.
How much interest, Fran?
Well, it depends on what kind of money you have in there, what the remaining amount. That, in other words, you can write your checks, and if there's $50,000 there, you get X dollars, whatever the rate is. I mean, I don't think you're going to get any interest from. Maybe you are from NBT, but I'm just telling you, the fire company has theirs with them as far as the carnival is concerned, and we get
Banks
interest.
don't pay
there
any
was no
interest
fees,
now.
and they give you interest on the account, whatever the remaining balance is.
Okay, so one of the things
maybe somebody has contacted them. I don't know.
Well, one of the things we have to think about when we think about the borough, Councilman Boy, is that our funds are revolving. You know, they're in and they're out. We're just getting our funds and we're paying bill. So I mean, we have a few accounts that are, that sits there for a while, but most of it are revolving. So, but no, we did not. We do, however, have like a small account with them, but we did not go through that process because with People Security.
Well, yes. I'm just bringing the name up because I happen to work with Mrs. San Diego when we started a fire company account there, and it worked out very well.
Okay,
but
all right.
That's, if you talk to her or whatever, that's fine with me.
Okay, thank you for that information, Councilman Nevels.
Yes, thank you, Claudette. First of all, NBT, I've been with them for over 30 years with my business, and I recommend them 100%. You have any problems or anything like that, you get extra charges for a slip or something, they usually remove it. They're a neighborhood bank, and I think the interest rate on any kind of savings or anything in the bank right now is like 0.05. It's insignificant. And like you said, President, that we are a turn door operation, money in, money out. So I recommend NBT. They're local people that work there, and I think we keep it locally. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, they local.
Okay, so I have any other discussion? So I have a motion on the floor. I have a second that we change from FNB to NBT. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the aye carries. I'm sorry. That motion should have been with an effective date. So I'll ask that we put that motion back out there with an effective date. On the agenda, we have an effective date of February 5th, and that is to allow us to go ahead and start that transition piece of it. So I'm sorry, and I apologize once again. I'll ask Ada Montanez to go ahead. Was it Ada?
I made the
No.
motion.
Oh, okay, Tommy
Yeah, it
Neville,
was
go ahead.
Tom.
Yeah, just give me the name of the old bank again, the bank we're doing.
FNB, so a motion to change from
FNB.
FNB to
Right,
NBT.
okay,
Effective
I'll
February
make a
5th.
motion to change from FNB Bank to NBT Bank for our banking needs effective February 5th, 2021.
Thank you very
I'll
much.
second.
Okay, the second, Stacy Stewart Keeler. Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The aye carries. Thank you all very much. All righty. I need a motion also to add Josh Walker, Borough Manager, as a signer to our account. So we know as it stands right now, the signers on our account is the President of Council and the Vice President. We need another signer. So I'd like a motion to add Josh Walker, our Borough Manager, as a signer on our account.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Stacy Stewart Keeler. May I have a second?
I'll second.
I have
I'll
a
second it.
From Tommy Neville. Any discussion?
Yes, is that just on that account or all accounts? Where
On
there's-
all accounts.
You and I have,
Yes, on all
well,
accounts.
that's true, okay. Yes,
I-
all right.
Claudette, I have something.
Yeah.
There is no conflict of interest with Josh being on this account, is there?
No.
Okay.
He's the person that's in the branch from day to day. So in the event that Franny and I or just one of us cannot make it in, he could go ahead and have that authority to go ahead and make sure, because each checks, everything requires 2 signatures.
And he will be bonded if he's not bonded already.
Yeah,
He is.
is.
Yeah, he is.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The aye carries. Okay, I have I think you have gotten enough time to look at our treasurer's report and the bill pack. I'd like to go back and ask for a motion to approve the treasurer's report and the bill pack. And then
Make
we'll
a
open it.
motion. I make a motion that we approve the bills to be paid in the bill pack.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
I have a motion on the floor from Stacy Stewart Keeler. I have a second from Ron Emily. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Councilwoman Buka.
Are we gonna continue to use EDS for our truck needs?
We are not defining any vendors that we have to do our service with. We do have other individuals that we use in the event that we have an emergency that we need to use Ed based on cost. We'll always double check to see what the cost is and compare it with the other individuals, companies that we're using. But we will not dismiss anyone from that we have a relationship with in the event that maybe he might show up with a lower cost and it's something that we need at a short notice and he's right up the street. So it's not something that we need to vote on, but the council itself will take an active, and I would say between Jim Trombetta and Joshua, take an active look on the cost if something is broken. We'll take a cost at all 3 vendors that we're using right now and see who comes out the cheapest.
So that means we're gonna put it, if it's not an emergency, we're gonna put it out for bid then, and basically?
It doesn't need a bid, actually. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut it. It doesn't need a bid. It's just a matter of, are we are we looking to just be with one? So the way Jim had, and maybe I'll bring him in, we're trying to put some numbers together, but maybe it's definitely something we could do in a work session. The way Jim was explaining it is that there's different pros and cons, obviously, for going for whoever, Ed's or Whitmore's or wherever we go, Peterbilt. I think because Ed's is so close, it's easier to get a lot of the heavy duty operating trucks there. But he mentioned, if we need to go somewhere else, it's not a problem, but you really don't want to keep jumping. You kind of want to, if you find the best one, then you start building a relationship with them, so that you can begin to, get your things fixed and get on a preventative maintenance schedule. So I think that's kind of where we're at. We're trying to get those numbers together.
Yeah, but
Well,
sometimes when you have a long time relationship, it gets complacent.
Yes, and that's what happened with Ed's. But this is for an invoice for batteries. That's why I know in the past, we were gonna approve batteries for a lot of money, and Jim ended up getting them at Napa for like a third of the cost.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Madam President, I have two questions.
Okay, sure.
Can I go ahead?
All right, is this in regards to the same thing that we're discussing?
No, the unpaid bills.
Okay. Unpaid bills, go ahead, please.
Okay. The one for, just to make sure, the Riley and Associates for $12,474.70. I see the term reimbursement before that. Does that mean that it will eventually be reimbursed to the borough?
Can I speak? Can I speak?
Yes, please.
That has been reimbursed in the budget section.
Yeah.
If you
Mike,
look
that's
under
lot 28,
income,
that's all
under
reimbursed.
reimbursement, it is there.
I'm sorry, two talking at the same time, I couldn't understand. It
It's
has
lot
been
28,
reimbursed.
that's all gonna be reimbursed. That's lot 28 in the industrial park, that's all subject to
Pull it
reimbursement,
up,
Mike.
Josh.
Okay, thank you. Now, the other one is Campbell Durant. That's the attorneys that we hired for the labor disputes and all that. That bill, the 4587.18, is it all encompassing, or did that just go for the Lori Noonan issue?
Oh, I don't remember.
I mean, can you repeat that again for me, please? I'm sorry.
The bill from Campbell Durant PC, General Labor and Equipment and Employment Matters, September 4587.18, $4,587.18. Is that strictly for the Lori Noonan issue?
No, I can answer that. That's for anything labor related. So they're our labor attorney, and we consult them for both that previous issue and also union representation or union issues.
And
Okay,
I think, Mike, she bills on a 30-day cycle, so her bill is inclusive of any services she provided over that period, be it for whatever it was.
And the answer to that question is yes, Mike. That was
Okay.
Yeah, that was in September of when we had that issue that we needed to take care of and be present in Harrisburg. So yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All righty. So we have the treasurer's report. We have the discussion. Any other discussion?
When we were talking there, I'm sorry, the reimbursable number, the $20,000 one that you asked about, that is in the budget as income now. They already paid it.
Mike, you got a question? Okay. Okay, I have a motion on the floor. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Okay, the aye carries to accept the treasurer's report and bill pack. All right, public participation. Anything coming from the
Claudette,
public?
I have one thing. It's not before you move on to public. I thought that, and Patty probably should express, she wanted to be removed from the EMS. I don't know if she changed her
That
mind
is
or
a
what.
committee issue, and I have already started removing. So at our next work session, you will see the need, and I will send out the new committee.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
I just.
No, that is not
hoping
something
she
that needs to be voted on. Yeah.
Okay, I know
I'll
it
send it
doesn't,
out
but
to
I
you
just,
by the time we get our workshop, and you'll see that new committee schedule going
fine.
out.
That's
Okay,
good enough
all
for
right.
me.
All
I
right,
have a question.
anything else from the council? Well, anything from the
Yes,
council? Councilwoman
I have a
Bucco.
question. Is Danielle part-time yet?
Danielle,
Yes. Yeah, it started this week.
yes, because we spoke last month, and she had assured us that she is caught up, and she will be ready to go over to her part-time. So as per Joshua, she is already there. Anything else from the council? Public participation, Mike Oster.
I just want to compliment Joshua in reference to the 86 pages he sent plus the additional information on the budget. It was very nice after 25 or 30 years of me sitting on this side of the board to actually be able to see what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
And understand what you're talking about. So I hope this continues, and I will agree with Patty to have maybe on the Wednesday prior that I can go through a little more detail of the budget versus the budget and the plans. But getting it on Friday, it was a joy because I was able to read it for the weekend. So Joshua, thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll get to you in a minute. Yeah. And Mike, just to follow up on that, Joshua and I had a conversation. We sat down, and that the discussion that we had was we will finalize what needs to be done on Wednesday, and it should be out no later, as he stated before, on a Thursday. If we can get it out a little bit earlier, that's fine, but the most likely the deadline date that we're looking for is going to be on a Thursday at noon. That, by the time just given, because with the treasurer's report also sometimes there's some changes that come in, and we want to make sure we're accurate as possible when we give out those packages. So but I support your compliment to Joshua.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Councilman Neville.
Yes, I just want to piggyback on Mike Oza's statement and compliment to our new borough manager, Joshua. I think he's doing a fantastic job. When I have any questions, he gets back to me in a timely manner, which, my first year, that was impossible. But I just hope he goes forward. He's bringing our borough forward. He's bringing our council forward. And I just want to thank him personally and to the public very much for doing your job.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilman Neville. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Ron Emily.
I would just like, Joshua, any information you have, I don't receive anything. Tom had to give me the ID numbers and the code numbers to even get on the Zoom tonight. Until I can get my iPad straightened out, please send anything that I need to know to remily@ptd.net so I can get it and read it. I don't get anything at all. If it wasn't for Tommy and Patty, I wouldn't even know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that, Councilman Emily. And I think the issue is that we still, I think I sent you the login information, but we need to maybe make a day where you can actually come into the office and we can set up your email. Everything is going to your email address, but obviously you haven't been able to log in yet. And just for everybody's awareness, we are trying to make sure, I can send you that stuff, Councilman Emily, to the PTD email, but we are trying to make sure that we use our actual official government emails just to be open and transparent. So I'm trying not to send too much to your personal email, but I will try to make sure you get that, and I'll try to once we open the office again, we'll try to get the get an appointment so you can actually come and we can set that up.
Okay.
And one of the issues, Stacy, that I think is that with your email is that you change your email. So that might have been you changed to K Keeler or versus
It's Keeler at mountpocono-pa.gov, but that should be the same. What it was before was the S. I think it was the S. Stewart dot Keeler. But that's still active actually. So anything that's going to the S.1 is to go into the same inbox as the S Keeler. So we'll have to look into that.
I don't go to the GoDaddy account. I just go to the Gmail account now. And I mean, I was getting them like I said, I got your draft, which I got the draft email, but then I didn't get the final one.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't know. I got a lot of emails though.
Anything from Mike Hoser?
Yeah, Madam President, I did forget one item. The Mount Pocono Municipal Authority is still shy one member. Is there,
Yeah.
has there anyone, I know there's only one so far that has put forth any interest. Has there anybody else?
We have put that out. It's put out on our website, correct?
Correct, it has been.
Yeah, it had been put out on our website and we have not received anything yet. That is something that we will look into. Maybe we have all these positions that we need and committee that we need to fill that we will be voting in the near future between now and our next regular meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Nothing else for me, guaranteed.
In the Pocono record.
I'm sorry?
Claudette, friend of well, I think you're the ad for positions that were open it was in the record. Pocono
That's correct.
record.
That's
Yes.
correct. It was in the Pocono
And it
record.
was on our website. Okay. Okay,
Yep.
anything else from the public? If there's nothing else from the public, I'll say once again, thank you all very much. It's been a long meeting. And the fact that we had that executive session, I thank you all very much for your time. Consider this meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Good night, all.
Good
Stay
night.
safe.
Thank you.
Have a good